Jason, would you believe that it is entirely possible? Do you believe it is possible that we might find ourselves going the wrong direction in the game of life if we're not intentional about course correcting on a daily basis?
I 100% agree.
Have you ever found yourself in a career that you didn't like?
Oh, absolutely.
I know I have. Have you ever found yourself with friendships you no longer needed?
Oh, unfortunately.
Have you ever found yourself going in the wrong direction? If you have, this is the show for you. On today's show, we're talking about the Big 180, featuring real client case studies, because it might just be time to make a profound turnaround. On today's show, we discuss the 9 super moves that you can use to grow your business this year, folks. You don't have to wait till next year. This could be your year. And Napoleon Hill was right when he once wrote, when an individual realizes the simple but profoundly vital fact that aiming toward a specific goal is the best insurance of hitting the bullseye, then he or she is ready to move toward more complex conclusions. Anyone may climb. Folks, this is your time. This is your year to take your life into another gear. It is now time for the Thrive Time Show on your radio.
Luke, I am your father.
I was just looking at something for my wife. God rest her soul.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, now we'll show you.
Yes, and yes! Thrive Nation, it is a very special occasion because it is always profound when you are above the ground. You know, Jason, so many times we all have a big idea.
True.
We get this idea. We're driving down the road. We see a thing. We say, whoa, that's my new idea. You're at a restaurant, and an idea occurs to you.
Shower.
You're in the shower. You're watching a movie. You have a great idea. Have you ever had a great idea, Jason?
I mean, I've had ideas.
Have you ever had a great idea?
Yeah, actually, my career change, deciding to get out of the gray world of accounting and culinary and come work for you was probably the best idea I ever had.
Oh, there you
So
go.
that was an idea you had, but you had been in the culinary world for how long?
Let's see. I finished school when I was 19, and then I was in it for about a year and a half, and then was in accounting for, until I was about 24, so a couple more years.
Really? Mm-hmm. So you were in the culinary industry.
Mm-hmm.
You had gone to school for this.
True.
Where did you go to school?
Here in town, it's a place called Platt.
So you invested the time and the money, but really I think the time is the big thing. You invested a lot of time in developing these skills.
True.
And then after you finished school, you then got a job doing what?
I worked as a sushi chef.
So at that point, there was a certain momentum going on.
Right.
And where were you working as a sushi chef?
It was a place called TK's. It's no longer TK's. It is now Roca.
So when did you, because again, we're talking about maybe 2 years of momentum here, maybe 3 years of momentum taking you one direction. When did it occur to you, I got to get out of here?
Let's see. I'm trying to remember. It was around Halloween. I know that for sure because that was my last day. But I had all of my friends and family asking me, "Hey, do you want to do this?" or "Hey, can you do this?" And my schedule never allowed me to do anything because I was so wrapped up in that. Because a lot of people don't know going into culinary, like those are brutal hours. There's so many people who need the service industry, and it is your job to, answer all of their needs. And so, you know, a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to go to the sushi bar and just get one roll of sushi. That is still like 12 hours of prep that goes into all of that.
So there was a certain momentum taking you that you'd committed time into studying the
Right.
culinary industry, money.
Yep.
And when did it occur to you, I got to get out of here?
When I had no time freedom and the financial benefit of doing that over and over wasn't getting me any further either.
If you can remember, where were you specifically when it occurred to you it was time to get out of the culinary industry?
I was closing down the sushi counter, which takes hours, and I'm prepping for the next day.
Yeah.
And typically you can get out of there by like 11 p.m. if it's a good night.
Yep.
But we had this crazy party come through, and I mean, I had people that would like come up to the bar. They were so pissed because there were 40 people ordering sushi. But yeah, so I was getting yelled at all day. I'd been on my feet since like early that morning, just going over and over. Your thumb gets real tired trying to hold that lever action, or that what do you call it? Yeah, it's like a lever when you're holding a knife. But after just like that beating, I looked at my phone and I had all these missed opportunities to see my friends, my family. Then I realized, God, I have to do this again tomorrow. Oh my God, I have to do this again the day after that. Oh, also, I'm not making nearly as much money as I could be doing something I hate rather than doing something I love. And so to answer your question, I was behind the sushi bar, and it was a week before I decided to call it quits. And I thought, yeah, I can't do this anymore.
So this is what we call the big 180. The big 180 is when you are going one direction and all of a sudden you recognize, oh no, I'm going the wrong direction with my life. Now, another example would be, let's say that we're on a boat,
Right.
and we've decided we're going to go closer to the shore because we want to get to the shore, into the dock before nighttime. So we're off the coast of Miami Beach. We're on a boat. We're on a yacht. I say, Jason, hey, let's go ahead and head back in. We can still see the shoreline. Let's head back in, and we want to park the boat there, and we'll go have some beverages. Go out to eat. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
And then it occurs to us, wait a minute, we're going further out to sea. Only an idiot would continue going further out to sea, and would talk about how they wanted to get closer to the land.
Right.
So the question I have is, on today's show we're talking about the big 180. We're talking about how to know when it's time to make a profound turnaround. Nathan, what time does Guts Church start today?
They've got 2 services. They got one, I believe, at 9 and then one at 11.
9. I'm going to the 9 a.m. today. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to the 9 a.m. at Guts today. I'm watching a lot of pastors. A lot of pastors talk, preach, teach. We're in this COVID-19 world. We're in this Black Lives Matters world, you know. And I recognize I can no longer get down with the statements that are made by certain pastors from the pulpit as it relates to those two topics. I can no longer attend a church that preaches that we should be deathly afraid of COVID-19.
True.
Now let's take a brief deep dive into COVID-19. I want to get out of those weeds, but we know that Neil Ferguson initially predicted that 2.2 million Americans might die from the COVID-19 virus. Neil Ferguson said this, and we know that Neil Ferguson worked for the Abdul Latif Jameel Institute, and that organization's funded by Amazon. And we know he came back later and said, the models were wrong. And we know that the nurse practitioners and hospital workers are all told to diagnose anybody with flu-like symptoms as having COVID-like symptoms. So we know that the cases are inflated, the deaths are inflated, the hospitalizations are inflated. We know this.
True.
We now know, Jason, that every day the mainstream media is hyping up the number of cases.
Oh, yeah.
And, Jason, why is it actually a good thing for there to be more cases when the number of deaths does not go up?
Well, it would stand to reason that if people keep catching, COVID and the cases are growing up, but the deaths are going down, we're getting used to it. It's not as deadly anymore.
Oh, or maybe it was never as dangerous as they said, or whatever. Right. We don't know. But the point is, it's less dangerous.
Very true.
We should be excited. Miami Beach should be wide open for the 4th of July instead of shutting itself.
Ooh, we should have Breck let us know what it's like down there.
Seriously, we should be. Did he go to Miami?
Mm-hmm. Well, he went to Florida. I'm not sure if he went to
Hopefully
Miami.
he didn't go to Miami. They just shut their freaking beach.
Oh, great.
So all I'm saying is certain pastors, though, are saying from the pulpit that they believe that we need to shut the church down because the cases are going up. That makes zero sense.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is that the death rate is going down.
True.
And so we're talking today about you, the listener, and your F6 life. You have goals for your faith. You have goals for your family. You have goals for your finances, for your fitness, for your friendship, and your fun. You have goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. And Jason, I will tell you, if we're not intentional about going closer to our goals, we're going the wrong way.
Very true. I've been there.
So the other day I'm sitting there in church, just like you were working at the sushi place, and the sushi place represents your financial goals.
Mm-hmm.
The church represents my faith goals. I'm in church and I'm saying, I think we're going the wrong way. We're getting further away from the coast.
Yeah.
So I didn't interrupt or say something out loud, but as soon as it got to a time in the church service where no one would know that I was leaving, I left because I just could not sit there during church and listen to a man scare my kids about the COVID-19 virus using. It seemed like Chris Cuomo from CNN was leading the church service. It was craziness. And so I said, it's time to make a profound 180-degree turnaround.
Nice.
Sometimes we have to ask ourselves. So what we're going to do today is we're going to focus on the financial aspects of your F6 goals, okay? Because we've talked about the F6 goals are your goals. Jason, explain to the listeners what the 6 Fs are. And you don't have to put them in any particular order. Just go through all 6 Fs.
Yep. So we got faith, fitness, family, finances, friendship, and fun.
All right. So, again, I'm just trying to make sure the listeners get this idea. This week, I was able to do an interview with my good friend John Lee Dumas with the Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And when I did the interview with John Lee Dumas from EO Fire, Jason, when I was doing the interview with John Lee Dumas, first off, did you know I was doing an interview with John Lee Dumas?
Yeah, I didn't know that you were doing an interview with John Lee Dumas. I always know during the workday when you're recording because the overhead music goes off.
Oh.
And typically, I can hear you from the box just having a conversation. And I'm going to attempt to step away from this hot mic and give the listeners a preview of what I heard. So I'm on a call with one of my clients. We're just, going through their stats and everything, and then all of a sudden you just hear, "Are you kidding me?"
Wow.
And I was just like, "What?"
Must be doing an interview.
I see your hands going up, and you're rocking back and forth on that mic. It was awesome.
Well, here's the deal. John Lee Dumas reached out to me and said, "Hey, could you be on the show?" So I was on the show. We recorded the show on the 25th of June. I don't know when he's going to release the show. But I was on the show at 2 p.m. Central on the 25th of June. But when I was on the show with him, Jason, what else was I doing? What was I not doing?
Were you not doing anything else?
There it is.
There
it is.
You were right there in front of the
there
mic.
There it is, because that was one of my goals for friendship. Also, I did an interview on Monday the 22nd with, let's see here. I had Gary Hamill on the show. I did an interview with Bruce Peterson. I did an interview with Matt Klein at 2:30 on the 23rd.
So fine.
I was on the Brett Winterbull WBT Charlotte radio show at 2:30. I was interviewed I interviewed Dr. Karash there. He is a top cosmetic dentist at 3 o'clock on the 23rd. I was on the Dan Oshner show in Minnesota there on the 23rd at 4 o'clock. At 4:30, I was on the Keith Hansen show. I mention these things because I had to put it in my calendar.
Right.
At 8:30 in the morning, I was on the Bill Myers show on the 24th, being interviewed there. I was on it's called the Dove TV. It's a Christian network. I was there at 10 a.m. on the 24th. At 8:32, I was on the Bill Martinez National Radio Show, listened to by millions of people, BillMartinezLive.com. I was on at 9:30 in the morning. I was on the NRN New Right Network there at 9:30 a.m. on the 26th. I can go on and on listing these specific shows, but I am specific and intentional about what I'm doing with my time. And all the listeners, all of us need to take time today and write down our goals for our faith, our family, our finances, our fitness, our friendship, and our fun. We have to make sure we're going the right direction.
True.
Now, Napoleon Hill writes the following quote. He says, "When an individual realizes the simple but profound vital fact that aiming toward a specific goal is the best insurance of hitting the bullseye, then he or she is ready to move toward more complex conclusions. Anyone may climb." I'm going to read that again. Jason, if I get some echo, that'd be great. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
When an individual realizes that the simple but profound vital fact that aiming toward a specific goal is the best interest of hitting the bullseye, then he or she is ready to move toward more complex conclusions. Anyone may climb.
Also, I'm terrible. I'm terrible with echo.
Here you go. I'll tell you what, why don't you read this as President Obama? Here,
okay.
Come grab this. Read this as President Obama, because I think you do a pretty good job. It takes you got to get into a groove. It takes you a few times, but this is now Napoleon Hill as read through the vocal patterns and stylings of President Obama. And I'll let you just give her a whirl. Let me cue up some nice meditative music here. Okay, go for it. This is Napoleon Hill as read by Jason Beasley to sound like President Obama.
I have to do the hands too, otherwise it doesn't work.
Go for it.
When an individual realizes the simple but profoundly vital fact that aiming towards a specific goal is the best insurance of hitting the bullseye, then he or she is ready to move toward more complex conclusions. Anyone may climb.
That was pretty impressive. Geez, that was good. Now, could you read it as though you are a Russian? Let me keep my Russian.
I haven't done that in a long time.
Let me pull that. Because we have 54 members of the National Institute of Health were recently fired. Scientists from the NIH, Dr. Fauci's NIH, were recently fired due to being paid by the communist Chinese. And there's over 400 of the 400 additional members of the National Institute of Health under investigation. I think it's appropriate that we play communist music from time to time. That way we know that the Red Scare is a real thing. Back to you. Go for it. Read them with your Mother Russia voice.
All right. When an individual realizes the simple but profound vital fact that aiming towards a specific goal is the best insurance of hitting the bullseye, then he or she is ready to move toward more complex conclusion. Anyone may climb.
That right there is profound. We all have to understand, and by the way, will you put that on the show notes? That'd be great.
Absolutely.
We all have to understand that those were two good impersonations. But also, we have to understand it is time for us to go towards our goals. So today, 9 a.m. is when the church service starts for Guts.
I was mistaken. I apologize.
Yeah, what time
I
is
wanted
it?
to get you there early. It's 9:30.
9:30. Okay,
Yep.
and it's at Guts Church with Pastor Bill Scheer.
Yes.
And talk to me about the why you go to Guts Church.
Well, I think luckily here in Tulsa, you can throw a rock and hit a lot of good churches, but you want to find a church that your kids are super excited to go to, because there's one thing about dragging your kids around in life, and you do need to do that. As a good parent, you do need to drag and just experience things for them and make them like they all have to take piano, because I want them to have that hand-eye coordination and be able to understand music. But certain times in life, you want to find something that excites them. And going to Guts, really, their kids programs are awesome. Pastor Bill says from the pulpit, he's like, hey, I'm here because I want you guys to like me, but I want your kids to think I'm awesome. So I have ice cream out in the foyer, and they can have as much ice cream as they want. You may hate me, but your kids are going to love me. And so they provide a good family environment. And their belief systems, he's the old school pastor that I love, because he's the one that's going to tell you more real, like, hey, you need to knock this crap off in your life that you're doing because it's going to hurt you, as opposed to the pussyfooting that some of the other pastors do, where like, well, I think we should just all love and just kind of get along. Like, no, you need hard truths sometimes in your life, because you're going, like you're talking about 180. Sometimes we need to make a 180 in our lives, and we need somebody that's got a nice, loving but firm hand to say, hey, spin that life around and do a better life.
What was he talking about? I'm not trying to paint you into a corner, but do you remember what he was talking about last Sunday?
Last Sunday he was not there because he was on vacation this week, but he
Got
did
it.
a good, from afar, did a dad, because last Sunday was Father's Day.
Got it.
So he took 4 of the great guys in the church, Brad Pepin and a couple of the other guys who were just pillars in the church. So he actually did a video where he introduced them and told about why this guy's awesome, why he's been with the church for 15 to 20 years. And then they came up and told some cool things that dads need to do to really put value into their life, and also what's expected from a dad. Like, I think a lot of times dads get overlooked and think that we're just supposed to go work. You'd really impressed with this. One of the big points they had was you need to carve out a time each day, at least 2 hours. You spend your whole day planning your work. You'll be to work on time. You'll get everything done in your work all day long, and then guess what most guys forget to ever do? Spend 1 hour with their kids at all. They'll come home and they'll be like, okay, this is my off time. No, it's your on time to enjoy your family and your kids that you work so hard to get.
So you're saying that he actually said a practical piece of life advice that maybe it was uncomfortable but was practical.
Yes, absolutely.
See, when I go to church, let's make sure listeners get this, what I'm looking for. When I go to church, I want to be corrected, instructed, inspired, coached, using God's word, the Bible, but I want to be told, hey, this is the better way to go. I don't want somebody to walk on eggshells and to avoid bringing up what I might be doing wrong, because what would be the point of going? Now, Jason, recently, as we're talking about our goals, faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun, we had a guy that attended the conference.
Yes.
And on today's show, we're going to brag on clients who are going the right way.
Yeah.
But we had a guy who attended the conference, and this dude was jacked.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was a big man.
Very big.
It was almost like he had the shoulders of 2 men, maybe 3 men. I
yeah.
mean, he's a big guy.
Close to 3.
And you decided to connect with this guy.
I did.
And who is this guy, and why did you decide to connect with this guy?
Ooh, so this is Coach Placid Ajoku II. Epic name. He owns Built Phoenix Strong, which is a athletic focused or an athlete focused personal training gym and system in Roswell, Georgia. And I decided to join with him because Julia, his coach, does a really good job about bragging on him. And so I'm hearing, okay, well, he's an implementer, which means if he can buy into our system to build his systems better, I should probably check him out because he's showing a form of discipline and growth. So I looked at everything he had to offer and took a swing and a miss. Well, not a miss, but I just took a random swing. He's in Georgia, so I reached out to him and said, hey, do you do any work for out-of-town clients? And immediately he's like, hey, I'd like to set you up for our initial first call. So we go through that. His scripts are on point. He's passionate about the whole thing. I had my first Zoom call with him on Friday where he broke down the accountability system, how that's going to work. He's putting the workouts together for me. And, I mean, the guy is just on. And when I realized when I'm talking to – because I've tried having a personal trainer before. I tried having a trainer at the gym. I tried reaching out to other sources. How he beats them is, one, he provides full accountability. Like, he will not let you fail. If he fails – or if you fail, he fails. But in all of our correspondence, he seemed like he cared more about my fitness goals than I did, which challenged me. And I'm like, oh, am I taking this seriously enough? But I had to reach out to him because I got to a point in my life where I'm not getting any younger. I just turned 27, and I have particular fitness goals I want to hit. So much like people come to us to grow their business, I wanted to go to him because he knows the path. I've seen him. I'm like, yo, if a human body can look like that, I need to know what you're doing, and I need help to get there.
And just like I would go to church because I want to find somebody to coach me in the right direction in the spiritual aspects of life, everybody needs a coach to help you go down the path of life. But again, I ask the listeners, are you going the right direction with your faith? And I'm just telling you right now, I recognized as a father of 5, the certain churches that I was checking out, I just can't go there. I cannot go to a church that wants to hide from the coronavirus. I can't do it. I can't go to a church. I can't go to a church that won't teach the Word of God, that dodges difficult subjects. Now, faith, family, finances, fitness, friendship, fun, in any of those areas, if you realize that you're going the wrong direction, if you find yourself going the wrong direction in life, you must become proactive. You must become proactive and make that 180-degree change that you need to make beginning now. You got to do it now. The time will never be just right. You must act now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to thrivetimeshow.com, and I'm going to click on testimonials. And I'm going to share with the listeners a few great clients that made some big changes that we want to brag on. So the first one, and Jason, you can pick anybody from this page you want to brag on, but I'm going to go first here. Stephanie Pipkin. She, I believe, originally heard about us through the John Lee Dumas Entrepreneurs on Fire podcast. She's a young lady who owns a business called Black River Falls Cleaning Services. And she has had a lot of success, but it started with her reaching out to us, and we scheduled a one-on-one. First, we scheduled a 13-point consultation with me after Julia and Luke had kind of vetted her to make sure it was the right fit potentially. And we did a 13-point assessment, and I knew we could help this young lady. But she, on her own, she had to reach out to us, recognizing that, hey, her business wasn't going the right direction. It wasn't a sign of weakness. It was a sign of coachability. She reached out to us. She's having a lot of success. Here's her story. Let me hit play. This is Stephanie Pipkin with Black River Falls Cleaning Services. And here we go. I'm going to hit play.
Hi there, my name is Stephanie Pipkin. I am 24 years old and I own Black River Falls Cleaning Services. We opened in April of 2019 and it is now mid-June of 2020. So I wanted to talk today about the success and growth I have achieved by implementing the Proven Path with Clay Clark's team and my business coach Luke from Thrive Time. It has been insane, to say the least. I started working with them in mid-February of this year, so we're about 4 months in of working together, and it has completely transformed my business in pretty much every facet. So I'm going to check my notes here. So in 4 months, my leads have tripled. I was getting probably like 2 leads a week. Now I'm getting more in the like 10 to 15 leads a week. I have doubled my number of employees. I'm now hitting the highest revenue weeks in the history of the company, week to week it seems like. We went from about 6 appointments today as our highest in February to now 14 to 15 appointments a day. And hiring quality employees has become much simpler and less stressful by using their systems for hiring. I typically only get maybe 2 complaints a month, if that, and everybody shows up to work. I just have really high quality employees now, especially in something people typically consider a high turnover type of work, you know, cleaning houses, cleaning businesses. I have amazing employees now, and I get rid of the ones who are not so amazing and bring on new ones because of, you know, group interviews and interviewing every single week. It's just been great, and such I don't waste as much time on low quality candidates anymore. I have successfully gained our second largest commercial client, and this was during COVID. So again, I started working with Luke and Clay in February, and then COVID hit in was mid-March or so. So for the entire month of April, we were shut down residential, April and May, I believe. And so despite that, and again, being a new business and all this stuff, I mean, we came out of COVID like stronger than ever, and now hitting our highest numbers in the history of the company, just leads just piling in. And the beauty is when people call us, they're already sold because of our Google reviews, our online presence, the no-brainer offer that we now give to our clients, which is, you know, if they book their second appointment within a month of the first, they get 50% off. And again, they're just ready to book. I hardly have to do any work, it feels like sometimes, to actually book people. So that's amazing. Every week I meet with Luke, and it's awesome. Obviously, I'm in Wisconsin, he's in Oklahoma, but we have a great time. I know I can text him at any time, call him at any time with any issues I'm having, especially when COVID did hit. They were so helpful in helping me get the PPP grants and everything settled away there, and really pushed me to make sure I was on the ball and getting all of the grants that I was possibly able to, which was amazing. So they've just been such a wealth of information, and when I'm freaking out because, you know, a burning fire is happening, Luke's there to calm me down and, you know, back me off the cliff edge. And it's just awesome to have him, you know, as a resource there. So every week we meet and we have a big tracking sheet. So we track all my leads, we track my numbers, where the leads are coming from, any complaints. I love my tracking sheet. I know
This is unbelievable. This lady's implementing everything. This is why we do what we do here. That right there deserves a well done. That's an unbelievable job. They're very impressive, very impressive. Seriously, that right there, great stuff. So again, this young lady, she says, I need help, not as a sign of weakness. She says, it's a sign of coachability. She says, I need help. Jason, a lot of times we need help. Mm-hmm. We're sitting there in a church service going, this isn't the right church.
Right.
We're sitting there at a sushi restaurant going, why am I working here? Mm-hmm. We're in a relationship that's going nowhere. We are in a business that's going nowhere.
Right.
And instead of picking up the phone, make the call, we don't for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. But this lady did. So I want to brag on her in these 4 areas.
Yeah. And
I would like for you to break down why this is so impressive.
Absolutely.
First off, she says she has great people now because she's implementing the group interview.
Yeah.
Please explain what the group interview is for our listeners who don't know, and why it's so difficult for many people to initially implement.
Well, it's a process by which you take all of the new employment leads that you get, whether it be Indeed, Craigslist, wherever you have your job posting, and instead of spending an hour with every individual candidate throughout your week, you spend 1 hour with any potential person who has applied, and you just kind of vet everybody all at once. So not only are you saving time, but you're getting through more interviews than the common business owner. So one, your time is precious, so you get that. But where most people fall short of the mark and they find it hard to implement is they've never done it before, or they've never known anybody who has. And also, I feel like it has to do with people who have a problem with public speaking. So they can do the one-on-one, the kind of disingenuous, okay, well, I'll take a look at your resume. And, regardless of this conversation, I might call you back. Or I might,
How many people show up at the group interview for us? Just so when you said public speaking, how many people actually show up for our job interviews?
The last one, before I left, there was probably a good 20 people, but I've seen it go as high as, over 70.
Over 70 people show up at one time for a job interview. Right. So it can become public speaking. Anyway, back to you.
Yeah, but no, it's super important because, again, it's a time-saving resource, and people are afraid to do it. At least the clients that I've had who have had pushback is, nobody's going to agree to it. People are going to think it's shady. How could I possibly find good people in a crowd of people? I feel like I need to talk to them one-on-one.
I think a lot of people were locked in.
Mm-hmm.
We spent 2 years studying culinary.
Yep.
We've spent, years attending this church. We've invested years in this relationship. We've spent years invested in this stupid business model. Something.
Mm-hmm.
There's some area of our F6 life, faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun. We're stuck. In one area is we're stuck doing the wrong way. We're stuck where we read all the resumes.
Right.
We sort of take a guess. We know that Inc. magazine reports that 85% of people lie on their resumes.
True.
But we're just so used to reading the resumes. We
Yeah.
kind of like reading the resumes. We kind of feel like maybe we have the secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
We maybe think, oh, I know how to find the good resumes.
Yeah.
I'm a resume whisperer. Now,
I've been doing this for so long.
So
I'm
long.
a pro.
You hear this all the time. But then once we recognize, no. We do our group interview every Thursday night at 6.
Yep.
And I don't care who sends in their resume. We pretty much say, we'd love to see you.
Oh, yeah.
Thursdays at 6. And we found 2 great people this week, 2 great ladies.
Nice.
One lady by the name of Chin Chin. I've never hired a Chin Chin before.
Oh.
And one lady, I don't know her first name because I'm a terrible person. But we found great people. And what was great is I knew they were great, so I scheduled a time to shadow.
Nice.
At the office. That's the next step. If we like them, we schedule a time to shadow.
Right.
And I didn't even know we would need them. And then on, I think it was Tuesday, I found out that we needed them.
Nice.
No, it was Friday because we interviewed them Thursday. So Friday I found out we needed them. But that's how it works.
There you
Now
go.
the second area, this lady's implementing the Dream 100 marketing system.
Yeah.
Please explain what the Dream 100 marketing system is that was created by Chet Holmes, the best-selling author of The Ultimate Sales Machine.
True.
And why is the Dream 100 so hard for people to implement? Again, what is the Dream 100 system, and why is it so hard for people to implement?
The Dream 100 system is basically a list where the business or business owner can reach out to people who could either refer business to them directly or their lives could be changed remarkably by them getting a deal with that person. So I love the Dream 100 personally. It's one of the best ways for it's one of the best ways you can generate leads. I mean, take Bob with the Grow Gun, for example. He has spent so much time doing Dream 100. I watched you walk one of your clients through his example the other day, and just because he takes the time to weekly go after these influencers, people that if their viewer base sees Bob's product on that channel, it'll come up.
Now, real quick, I just want to make sure we're getting this idea because I think somebody's out there going, okay, I like what I'm hearing, kind of, I don't get it. So the Dream 100 is where you make a list of 100 or more clients that you want to land.
Yeah.
I mean, people that are big deal people.
Yeah.
Now, you make a list of these people, and you got to make the list. Now, Jason, that right there, people get stuck there.
True.
Why is that hard for some people making the list?
Well, this person is higher up in the world, so how could I possibly get their contact information?
They didn't wake up with a burning desire to pay you. Right? What else? What other pushback areas do you hear? Because I think some people say, I want to do this. I'm going to do this. I need to do this. But they don't actually make the Dream 100 list. Where do you see pushback?
Well, a lot of the time, let's say they have made the list, and they've made it reluctantly because I pushed them to do it. Just recently, I had a client tell me that they felt guilty begging people for their business. And so I thought, well, what do your advertisements do? And I don't know what it is. Like, I'm trying to dig deeper to figure it out. But yeah, they literally told me, they're just like, I got off the call and I felt weird, like my stomach was turning. I said, no, did you eat some bad shrimp? They're like, no, I've never asked for business before. I've always had my business and assumed people would come to me. And I realized that is actually more common. He said it different than other clients, but that's a very common reason is people are used to business flocking to them. So the second you tell them, hey, you need to go and try and get business, they're like, I don't know if I can do that.
So what you have to do is you have to make a Dream 100 list of your ideal and likely buyers that you're reaching out to. Now, I want to make sure we're getting this idea. This week, Bob and the Grill Blazer on his list is Texas-style barbecue cuisine. It's a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
And I'm not familiar with the YouTube channel. I'm going to pull it up right now. This is a YouTube channel. Let me click, do a little copy, a little paste action here. The Texas.
Hello there, I'm Chef Johnny, and
There
this
it
is
is.
Charlie, and this is Texas-style barbecue and cuisine. Appreciate you stopping by. Hey, I tell you what, on this.
So we reached out to this guy. We gave him, we emailed him saying, hey, my name's Bob. I'm with the Grill Blazer, and I'd like to see if you'd be willing to receive a free sample of one of my products. I think you would like it. And this guy said yes. Then we had Postal Barbecue. Jason, do you find yourself watching Postal Barbecue a lot?
I might now.
Well, Postal Barbecue is a show that has 28,000 subscribers. Pretty decent amount of followers
Hey,
right
welcome
there.
back to Postal Barbecue. I'm Jabin Postal, and today at the Grill.
So 28,000 subscribers.
Oh, it's his name. I thought he was going to go postal on his barbecue. That's a totally
That's
different meaning.
Totally different. This just in from our home office. A totally different meaning it is. So, again, you have Texas-style barbecue cuisine has 36,000 subscribers. The other guy has 28,000 some odd subscribers. Now, Jason, that's just this week. That's just now that I want to keep going. These are other people who've said yes this week to receiving a sample. It's called Get Out and Barbecue. You have the Smoky Ribs Barbecue, and then we have the Ed Milet Show. Now, are you familiar, Jason, with the Ed Milet Show?
I'm not.
He interviews huge names like Rob Gronkowski.
Ooh, Gronk.
He'll have, just big names. But this guy has 369,000 subscribers. Now, again,
it's the worst thing you could tell a young
Here we go.
person is be patient, take your time.
We're on the Ed Milet Show right there. I mean, he interviews huge names. He'll have Phil Mickelson on there. He'll have Rob Gronkowski. I mean, big time people. But again, we have to start off with the audacity to make that list.
True.
But then we got to go after it aggressively. Bob
Very.
landed 5 Dream 100 contacts this week, and he does every week.
Nice.
That's why Bob's selling $40,000 a week of grill guns. It was a startup.
Yep.
Folks, check it out. A startup 2 years ago, grillblazer.com. You remember him coming in, Jason?
Yeah.
Those first meetings. Now he's selling $40,000 of stuff a week.
Beautiful.
This young lady right here, Stephanie Pipkin, selling a lot of stuff, doing great. Jason, she's also implemented the no-brainer. What's the no-brainer?
Oh, it's a deal so hot.
So
not
hot.
only can your customers not say yes to it, but it'll piss off your competition.
What do you mean? How could you irritate your competition by making an offer that's very aggressive?
Well, you do what they can't. So then later on in life, you can do what they can't. So like for us, elephant in the room, I mean, who is going to pass up $1 haircut for the first try?
How much is it?
$1.
How much is it again?
100 pennies.
Total?
2 quarters.
I just think somebody out there.
4 quarters.
Yeah, I was going to.
I'm bad at math. It's Sunday.
Well, that
Whoa.
accounting kicked in there.
Yeah.
You corrected.
2 quarters. I'm furthering our no-brainer.
I was at the Trump rally, and there was a speaker who was yelling to the audience 4 more years.
Oh, no.
While holding up 2 fingers. And I'm not going to mention who it is, but it was pretty awesome.
Was it Clay Stairs?
No.
Okay.
But there was a person just going, 4 more years with 2 fingers.
It's
And
like that scene in you ever see Shrek, the Michael Myers animated film?
Yep.
When Lord Farquhar is trying to pick the door and there's the giant henchman, he's just like, 2, my lord, and he's holding up the 3 fingers. Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
So again, if we're out there though, Jason, the no-brainer deal. Some listener out there is trying to come up with a no-brainer offer.
Yeah.
Why do you have to have a no-brainer offer? Like Dr. Breck, if you go to drbreck.com, your first exam, your first x-ray, and your first adjustment is free.
Yeah.
Why do you have to have a hot no-brainer?
Because it makes people excited to try your business. And if you don't have a differentiator, so Breck is a chiropractor. There are a lot of chiropractors in the Tulsa area. Some people might not know how common it is, but there's a lot. But the reason why Breck stands out is he has a hot deal that nobody else does. I mean, I have had to go to a chiropractor before. Insurance covered it, but even still, I was paying a pretty premium, and that first appointment that I had with him was not free. That had to come out of my insurance. Had I known about Breck, I would have immediately gone to him and given him my business because that's awesome.
I think it's so important. Everybody out there, I know it's important. Dr. Zellner, drzellner.com. If you visit my partner's business, the first pair of glasses and the first exam is just how much?
$99.
It's a hot deal.
That's a very hot deal.
Somebody doesn't want to do the no-brainer, though. That's why this lady's doing so well. She's implementing the moves.
Right.
Tracking.
Oh,
She's tracking the numbers. Jason, a lot of people don't want to track the numbers.
They don't.
Why?
Because they probably grew up in a household where nobody talked about money, so it's very scary to them. But also, once you've gone so long without tracking, the fear of going back to see where you're actually at is terrifying to most people.
Why?
Because they're like, oh, I'm winning the game of life. I am selling. That's the thing. They're like, I am selling like crazy. And I watch you have this conversation with PMH. You're like, yeah, you're selling really well, but where are the profits? I'm like,
well, and the thing about Randy is so coachable. PMH OKC, such a joy to work with him.
Yeah, but now that he's tracking those profits, not only are his sales awesome every week, his profits are awesome every week.
That's real talk. Now, Jason, think about one of your clients that reached out to us and that you've been working with that's been implementing the moves. Because, again, you're a really great coach. We're great coaches if people implement.
Oh, absolutely.
We're bad coaches if they don't.
True.
So let's talk about it. What's one of your clients you can think of?
So if you're still on the Thrive Time show, that second line there, Mr. Jason Lett, he is the owner of Lake Martin Mini Mall in Eclectic, Alabama.
I'm going to thrivetimeshow.com. I'm clicking on the testimonials button. And this is your client, and his name is Jason Lett from Lake Martin Mini Mall. Where's he based? Where's Lake Martin?
So Lake Martin is I believe geographically it's like the center of Alabama. So technically the proper city he's in is Eclectic, which is about 45 minutes from Birmingham.
I'm going to hit play, and you break down why he's so successful. Here we go. Let me hit play. Hitting play. Feeling the flow.
Hey, guys. Jason here at Lake Martin Mini Mall in Central Alabama. We are a small boutique-style retail store catering to outdoor living areas and helping people enjoy those a lot more. We started working with Thrive Time in January of 2019, and starting in April of 2019, we started seeing the boost in our sales over 2018, looking at it month to month, year over year, because we are seasonal. But April through now November, we are up double-digit percentages every month over same one last year. October, 67%. November, we're looking at probably 100% growth over last November. Overall for the year, we're up 15% or so. So we are really seeing some good growth. Jason is my coach, helping me with just focusing on things and getting things done that are helping us grow the business. They're working on advertising for us. They're helping us with ads and website stuff, Google stuff. I don't understand it. So they're doing a great job, though, because evidently it's working. So we enjoy that. We went to one of the conferences back in August and had a really good time. It really learned a lot. So I just encourage y'all, if you want to help transform your business, following the processes, they've got it worked out. They've got it figured out. It's up to me to work at my end, and the process works. Thank you.
Okay, so Jason, you can tell us anything that he's been doing, anything that because I want Nathan to be able to share his journey in just a moment. But let's talk about this here again. Our first testimony, we talked about how she's diligently implementing the group interview, the Dream 100, the No Brainer, the tracking sheet, and I cut her off. I didn't play the whole thing. So tell us what kind of stuff is our client here. Jason from Lake Martin Mini Mall. What kind of stuff is he implementing?
Well, so one of the big things he's implementing is, content. When you talk about Vism, so your idea that in order to get to the top in Google for people to find you, you have to have video reviews, you have to have images, you have to have search engine content, and you have to have more reviews than your competition. So we started kind of doing that before you had that big push towards the end of last year, and you kind of gave us the Vism idea, like the 4-part breakdown.
Yeah, Vism stands for video reviews. You got to get video reviews every single day if possible. I, you've got to add images to your website. S, you got to have search engine content. Add 1,000 words of content to your website every day. And M, get more Google reviews. That's what Vism stands for. VISM, video reviews, images, search engine content, more Google Reviews. V stands for video reviews. I stands for images. S stands for search engine content. M, more Google Reviews. Again, so you're telling me this guy's getting after it.
Yeah, he's put up so much content. If you type in the word Big Green Egg and you're in the Lake Martin area, or if you type in Big Green Egg Lake Martin if you're not in the Lake Martin area, the entire first page is him. His Google map because of his reviews and the relevancy to the product, and then all the content. He just made this mini cooking series because he likes to cook, and he's trying to teach people about how to use the expensive products that he sells. And that knowledge alone netted him 7 sales on Father's Day just because he put information out there.
Let me hit play. Let me play one of these videos here. This is the Big Green Egg, Lake Martin Mini Mall. I'm on the YouTube channel, Lake Martin Mini Mall. I'm subscribing. I feel kind of bougie watching this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I feel this is good right here.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, wait, with the
Hey
dance
guys,
party.
my name is Olivia, and this is Jason, and this is our first episode of what you may not have known you could do with your Big Green Egg. Now today we're doing something.
They did a great job here. Great job.
And they only got better after that first episode. I mean, he stepped up his audio quality. He stepped up his video quality. Even the recipes are cool. Like
he got started.
Yeah, he got started.
So many people don't start.
He was because at first he had never done it before. He's like, I'm a man from Alabama, and I'm on YouTube, but I never thought YouTube content would do anything for me. So he got started on that. So these kind of sat in waiting for a while. He wasn't sure if he wanted to do it. Kind of like when you launch a podcast, you record a couple episodes, you're like, I don't know if the world's ready for that, or if I'm ready. I had him make so one of his highest viewed videos, I had him make a video showing people how to use this $2,000 umbrella that he sells, because I thought, who's going to buy a $2,000 umbrella? The second he put that video up, it got to the top in Google because none of his competitors locally know what they're doing, and he was selling like crazy all week. And so he'd ask people, how'd you find us? And they said, well, I was looking for a dock umbrella because the summer's coming up. Everybody there's got a dock. And then they said, your video came up, and not only did you show us what product it was, we realized you were local, and you taught us how to use it.
So we're going to help you. If you are out there and you need help, we only have 160 spots, okay? So we got 3 ways we can help you. 1, you can go on to thrivetimeshow.com. You can click on the business school, and for $19 a month, you can watch the Thrive15.com powered videos. You can do that. It's $19 a month. 2, you can come out for an in-person workshop. We have thousands of people that do that per year. There's no upsells. It's unbelievably interactive. But if you want that one-on-one coaching, if we have an availability, just go to thrivetimeshow.com and schedule a 13-point assessment, and we can help you. But again, what else is this guy doing? What else is this guy doing? He's implementing some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What else is he doing?
Well, one of his, not so much a no-brainer, but a purple cow. He throws these.
What's a purple cow?
So purple cow is something about your business that makes it stand out. So Seth Godin would say, you're driving down the street and you see a field of brown cows. Nothing's going to stand out. But if one's purple, you're going to notice that one. You might even come back and say, I need to know more about this purple cow.
Seth Godin, the best-selling author, by the way, folks, he's the guy who wrote the book called The Purple Cow, which instructs us as business owners that we have to create marketing that stands out. And if we do not do that, we won't be remembered. Can you read this excerpt from Seth Godin real quick? This is little Seth Godin, best-selling author of The Purple Cow. I just want to make sure the listeners out there understand what The Purple Cow is. It's a great book. Everyone should buy the book, frankly. It's a wonderful, wonderful book. Educate us on what The Purple Cow is.
So Seth Godin says, in a crowded marketplace, fitting in is failing. Not standing out is the same as being invisible. Boring is invisible. Remarkable people and products get talked about.
Okay, continue. Tell us about Lake Martin Mini Mall and their Purple Cow.
Yeah, so of course, they are the only place locally that makes videos. So that's why they're beating places like Pottery Barn and Lowe's for their search term. But another thing he does is he throws these epic blog parties. And he kind of does it in the way that you do.
Block parties?
Mm-hmm. So he kind of does it in the way that you do for Elephant in the Room for like the customer appreciation cookouts. He doesn't really post anything about it. His store is right there on, it's like right off the side of this main highway. And then right behind him is the beautiful Lake Martin. So when people are driving by, they can see him. So he gets all of his chimeneas going. He gets the Big Green Eggs going. He puts up signs for free beverages, free food. And so as people are, navigating through their summer homes or from their summer homes looking for something to do, they see this party and they're like, what's this? And he's like, oh, we just like to cook for the neighborhood. And then as people come in, he gets to talking to them, and he makes out like a bandit when he does those things.
People actually show up to these things?
Oh, absolutely.
I think I have audio of his most recent block party. Let me cue it up real quick. It might be the wrong clip. Let me see. I think this is.
That sounds like it.
That looks like.
Can you see this on the? Can you see this on the screen, Jason?
I can't.
On that monitor, is it showing right here?
No, it's not.
No, it's not showing. Okay, well, I guess that's not his block party. My bad.
I mean, it sounds like that's how they get down in Alabama. You know?
I guess that's a different party. My bad. My bad. I got the wrong clip pulled up here. But so he does block parties. He actually implements them.
Yeah, and so we have. I helped him make a checklist last summer when I started working with him. It's like, hey, okay, what are you going to need? Who's going to be responsible? And every single time he gets that thing out, he assigns it to his team, and then it's just like a well-oiled machine. But one of the best things that I'm super proud of him for is I got him to start tracking profit. And at one point, he was worried about how much he was making because he always looked at sales. When he realized his expenses were super high, so he did this big, deep accounting for about a month. And then if I look back at it from June through December of last year, he brought in $193 in profit. Well, $252.17. But as of this year, January through the last week of June here, it's not even complete yet, he has already made $308,946.18 in profit.
What did he do last year again?
He did, let me go back to his tracking sheet, $193,252.17.
So $193,000. I got it in my mind. $193,000.
Yep.
And this year he's doing how much?
$308,000. And here's the thing.
During
January through February, he wasn't even really open.
Why?
Well, there was, of course, the coronavirus, but he, like he said, he's a seasonal business, so people are at the lake between, like, mid to late March through September.
Guys, listen, folks out there, don't believe that success is for other people and not for you. You can do it. You can do this. Napoleon Hill, the best-selling author of Think and Grow Rich, writes again, when an individual realizes the simple but profoundly vital fact that aiming toward a specific goal is the best insurance of hitting the bullseye, then he or she is ready to move forward toward more complex conclusions. Anyone may climb. Mm-hmm. Jason, give us just one more client that you work with that's having a lot of success before we begin to interrogate Nathan about his success. Give us just one more client that you can see there on the ThriveTimeShow.com. If you go to testimonials, give us just one more client that jumps out to you where you go, this guy right here, this person, they are on fire.
Let's see. I see my man, Dr. Jay Schroeder. He's on here.
Where's Dr. J?
He is row 4 or 5. Right.
Okay, let me hit play. Dr. J. This is a chiropractor based in Nashville. Let me hit play here. He heard of us originally by coming to a conference, I believe. Here we go.
Hey, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about Thrive 15 and what they've done for me. My experience with them started with a weekend seminar. I was just kind of feeling stuck and just needed something to light my creative juices. And a friend of mine recommended I go check them out, and I did. And certainly nothing short of amazing that weekend seminar as far as what it did for me. But based on that, I wanted to learn more about what they could do to help me. And
now that guy, hit the exit ramp. He was going the wrong way down the highway. Hits the exit ramp. Boom, we're helping him now.
Right.
Brag on him. What is something great this guy's doing? Dr. J. Schroeder from
holy crap,
Nashville. Give us something.
He's the king of accountability. So every week, so he too is hitting the Vism plan.
He's doing it.
Video reviews, images, more
search
reviews,
engine content.
Yeah. So he's hitting that super hard. And one of the things that he did is he has a guy who works for his other location in Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Big Mike. Shout out to Mike.
Big Mike.
And he assigned Mike, okay, this is how many pictures we have to get for the site. This is how many video testimonials. This is how much content. And this is how many reviews. Every week when I call Jason, I'm going to patch you in for the first 10 minutes. I'm going to make sure that you hit that goal. And the very first time, Mike got like 3. And Jay's like, that's cool, but I said no less than 10. He's like, oh, I thought you said, just like some. He goes, no. I said no less than 10. So what are we doing next week? And it's almost kind of like when I go through with the coaching client and I assign what to do. I make sure they understand it. I have them repeat it back to me. And so since then, for the past 3 or 4 weeks, he's just been dominating. And of course, it's helped with his lead acquisition as well. But on top of that, he loves a good checklist, and I love that about him. He is a systems guy through and through. So if you tell him, if he says, and he said it before, I have bad employees or I have a problem finding good people, you tell him about the group interview. He'll push back a little bit, and then when you show him the system and how it works, he implements it, done. He'll do it for the rest of his life.
I think everybody out there today, folks, everybody out there, we're all stuck in one area. we're all stuck in one area.
Yeah.
You know, tonight I was kind of I don't know how stuck I was, but it was like an area where it occurred to me on Friday. You know what? I need to have Nick Lamb come out.
Oh yeah.
Now, Nick Lamb's a client, but he's also like the best surfer in the world, the best professional surfer in the world. Nick Lamb, he's coming out.
That's what I've heard.
As I said, you know what? We need to have Nick Lamb over for dinner, and then Attorney James, Lawyer James.
Oh yeah.
Based in New York City. These are both lockdown states. I'm like, these guys need to come to my house. We'll have some dinner. We're gonna have a good time.
Are you gonna just unapologetically ask Nick Lamb only Point Break questions?
What is Point Break?
What? Point Break?
No,
educate me.
Oh man, so it is a iconic. What was that? Early '90s, late '90s movie about a undercover FBI agent by the name of Johnny Utah, played by Keanu Reeves. 1991. That predates me. But yeah, so Johnny Utah infiltrates a extreme sports group led by Patrick Swayze, and basically they wear masks of like historical presidents, and they rob places, and they always get away because they know extreme sports. But there's a lot of surfing references in the movie. So.
And what's the movie called?
Point Break.
Never heard about it.
Oh man, you
unbelievable!
Love it.
Unbelievable. Okay,
Well, it's
so
an
again,
amazing Keanu Reeves movie, so I could see how you might have missed it.
did he act in this movie? Keanu?
That's a push for Keanu Reeves.
Hey, that's my boy. You take that back.
You like him?
I love
He was
Keanu
perfect
Reeves.
in The Matrix, I got to say. And John Wick. Oh,
And hey, Bill and Ted's coming back.
that's going to be interesting.
I've never acted in a movie, so anybody who's acted in a movie successfully, big shout out to you. But I want to make sure we get this idea. I had the idea, hey, we should have these guys come visit.
Mm-hmm.
But then I actually took the time to invite them to come to Tulsa.
Right.
They actually had to buy the airplane tickets, and they shall be here today.
Nice.
Because we actually were proactive about friendship. I was proactive about friendship. Everybody should write down every morning your goals for your faith, your family, your finances, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun, and you should become proactive in those areas. If you're not where you want to be, sit down and become proactive about the changes you want to make.
Right.
If you don't like the conversation that you're having every day with a certain people, A, try to change the conversation, or B, try to change the relationship. So find different friends. If you're not happy about the church you go to, don't complain about it. Find a different church.
Yeah, don't make yourself miserable sitting in the same situations.
But but if we're not careful, we got that culinary degree.
yeah.
We stay in that job going the wrong
yeah.
way. If we're not careful, we get stuck going the wrong direction. Nathan, how long ago did you and I first meet?
First met as, it's been like 15 years ago. You actually were the DJs who came out to do our wedding. But then I heard of you through different avenues throughout. We were on your email list, so we saw the different journeys you went through, and then heard your radio show here in the local Tulsa area. And it triggered, it excited something inside of me to say that I didn't have to be stuck in the place I was at my business. And that we physically met at one of the first conferences we went to a little over 3 years ago now.
So you came to a conference 3 years ago.
Yep.
Your cousin actually was on my payroll for a while there. Aaron DeSoto, back in his younger days when he was a disc jockey.
Yeah.
And so we had known through DJing your wedding. You had family that had worked for us. You'd listened to the show. Tell the listeners out there about the growth you've had over the last 3 years.
Yes. So before the Thrive Time show I was in my what I like to call midlife crisis times. Anyone who's in their 40s or 50s who's going through midlife crisis, I don't know if you're going to be 110. I don't. That's not your midlife. So for me, 35 was the point where I felt like I'm starting to get that middle part where I look forward as far as I could look backwards and realize, okay, at some point I do want to retire, and is what I'm doing now something I could retire from? And so that right there had inspired me to say, I better get off my duff and do something bigger. And all of the things you've helped us to do have taken us from a business that was barely surviving to where we've now over 3.5 times as much business over a 3-year span to what we were doing before we started with the coaching system and learning just a different mindset of ways to approach your business.
So again, you came into the program, wanted to grow your company. Explain a few of the things that you have implemented, because again, vision without execution is hallucination, according to Thomas Edison. So what are some of the things that you've actually implemented, the things you've actually applied that you've learned at either the conference or one-on-one coaching that has allowed you guys to grow?
Well, over 3 years, Jason would have to break out the entire boom book because I think we've gone through just about every single item on there, and it's impactful. It's all helped in some way. I wanted to. I'm sure that the first thing that we did the day of the conference, the first day of the conference, you drilled home Google reviews. And Google reviews, I thought, didn't matter that much. At that time, it was just an organic thing you just let happen. I think we had maybe 10 Google reviews or so, maybe 7. And so we went out that first day, and I went out and tried to get a Google review, and that has spiraled to now. We are the highest and most rated carpet cleaning company in the Tulsa area, which actually inspired me to get you an imaginary trophy. I've got a really big imagination, so if you asked any of my imaginary girlfriends in high school, they'd all tell you that I have a really big imaginary girlfriend, and I know that you're probably thinking, why would he have more than one imaginary girlfriend? Well, it's simple. Some guys have a bigger imagination than me, so they left. But the trophy that I got you guys is a trophy you've said you've never had. And so I feel like you deserve this particular one because you are a business coach that has helped become a company that does suck for as a business to become the highest and most reviewed company that does suck in the Tulsa area because we do clean carpets. And so for as a business, we are sucking the dirt out of people's carpets. So you could say I now have coached one of the most successful companies that does suck in the Tulsa area.
That has to be on a trophy.
Yeah.
I have now coached one of the most successful companies that sucks.
Yeah.
I love that.
That is
I empower you to go to the trophy store, and I will put that up with a lot of. I will proudly display that. Don't make me display that. So talk to the listeners out there. What are give us some specific things that you implement on a weekly basis?
Absolutely. So getting reviews, Google reviews, that should be something that everyone does just today. You just go out there, you talk with your employees, or you do it yourself, and you just say, you know what, you have not because you asked not. So you just got to go ask those. Obviously, do a good work, but once you got the good work down, go ask. We're at over 570. So we actually double the guy I used to try to chase. I've finally beaten him, and I've doubled him. Putting new content on the website. This helps tremendously with our rank in Google, so now we're popping up better. And as a great bonus for your Google reviews, your AdWords are going to perform way, way better. We get way more performance. I want to say
because people want to verify that you are real, and so after they see your advertisement, okay, that's nice, but now they want to verify that you are real, and so that's what it really does work.
It does, and the video reviews, get out there, get those video reviews. That helps tremendously. It's helped our business. I'll give you a quick story, a great story. This won't happen every time, but this kind of iconicizes why you need to get out there and do this for your business. I had one of our guys went out to a job. Shows up at the job. The lady's there. Her husband is scheduled online, so he's yet to ever use our company. He looked at the video reviews. He looked at the testimonials, and so he said, hey, this is the company I want. When we showed up there, his wife came out and said, hey, is it okay? Do I have to stay for the whole time? And so our employee's like, well, he just gives the de facto thing that we say, yes, you can leave if you want. We just need payment before you leave. I need a way to lock up the house. I need a way to contact someone if I have a problem. And so she said, here you go. I will pay you right now. She gave him a $40 tip. She gave him the keys to the house, and she said, hey, I want to go see a movie. And so she left, and like a company she's never used before, because she said, I've seen your video reviews. I've seen your Google reviews. I've seen what a reputable company you are, and I trust you completely.
And then you robbed her blind.
Well, that is the best way to lose all credibility ever.
He did not rob her blind.
Well, actually,
this just in.
So my employee called me and says, hey, boss, is this okay? What am I going to do? And I said, you have been given the keys to the kingdom. I said, now it is up to you to not mess this up. You're going to have to earn that trust she just gave. She gave you a $40 tip. You better make this the best job you've ever done in your life. So she comes back and she's like, wow, I put my trust in someone properly. Another thing that we've done that is just awesome is track. I said it so many times because without a scoreboard, you can't win. It's impossible. And I personally believe not all business owners are this way, but I know that I didn't track because I didn't want to see that I wasn't accomplishing the thing that I thought I was accomplishing. It's not quite putting your head in the sand, but I think for me, a lot of business owners I've talked to, you ask them this question, they don't know. They just know that they're covering their bills. They don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. And even this year, we went back through, and I think that I want to go over this list real quick of the things that we did this year that made a huge difference. I did this again. We do this every year with you, Clay. And I looked back over, we've increased some awesome stuff. We've been able to give backs to our community. Every job that we do, we feed someone in our local community for the food bank. We've added a gourmet popcorn. We've done a lot of really up service type things so our customers are well taken care of. But guess what we forgot to do after doing all these up service things? Go back and recheck to make sure we're still profitable with that. We realized we'd slipped down to about a 12% profitability, reworked the numbers this summer. And we are now at a 30% profitability and just really, really making good money. So not only are we at 3 times more business, but we're now at 15% more profitability on that 3 times more business, which is a compounding effect that makes a huge difference. And the little things I hadn't thought of that are on my list here was our popcorn, our bag clips, our magnets, a give back, the employee tax. Are you putting that into how much it costs to do your business? Our insurance, our advertising, the chemical and maintenance of the vans, the labor, make sure you got the proper amount, the gas and the maintenance. There's a lot of these little things, even the credit card fees. Are you factoring in the 1 or 2%?
I think a lot of people right here have a lot to learn. That's powerful. Looking at the numbers, you have to measure whatever you treasure, folks. You measure what you treasure. Jason, can you please explain why this is so profound that he actually took the time to get down and look at his numbers and to find out, to ask himself, is he profitable?
Yeah.
Is he not? Why is that so powerful?
Well, it's powerful because, again, at that point, Nathan was going in one direction, and he realized, wait, hold on. If I'm going in this direction, is it going to be of any benefit? We could have all of these additional services. We can have all of this. We could hire 10 people tomorrow and then start taking on all this additional business. But are my overhead expenses matching the money that I'm actually bringing in, paying my people, and then that I get to take home? Am I going to get closer to my financial goals? Am I going to have time freedom as it relates to that? So just knowing that you had the fortitude to take a step back and look at the success you had, but then also have the responsibility to say, is this success going to be something that is beneficial to me? That's massive.
Okay, so what else, Nathan? Give us some more detail, because this is really good stuff.
Getting in and reworking scripts. This is huge. This is the first thing that helped me tremendously, because when I came to you guys, I call it the 3-van rule. In business, I've yet to meet someone when they're just running their own van, that when they go to 2 vans, they become massively unprofitable compared to having 1 van. And so I'd pared back in 2007 because I knew the stuff that was coming and the industry was going to hit. And so I pared back to 1 van and just tried to make it through that time frame, and found that I could be pretty profitable with 1 person. But guess where I cap out? I can only do so many jobs in a day. And so that's the most I'll ever make in my life, because it's just me. But when I add the 2nd van, I became less profitable. And you have to get to that 3rd van to where all of a sudden you make more money than you did all by yourself. And so you helped us with scripts to get past that, because if I'm the only guy who does the jobs and answers the phones, well, then something collides and I can never schedule more jobs because I'm currently talking at a job. Or I can't do the job because I'm currently talking to a customer.
Now, do you and again, you can I give you permission to change your mind in the future, but just let the listeners in a little bit. Let them into your brain for a second. And what are your goals for the next year?
For the next year, I want to get our 4th van up and running. I've got 3 vans, and I've got a 4th one pretty much close to there. I want to hire at least 2 or 3 more guys, because I think we have the capacity to really expand. So I could see 12 months from now potentially 75 to 100% increase, or maybe double over the next 12 months is my short-term goal. And then I want to start doing some things that I've put off. There's some stuff that you grind really hard for a while, and then eventually you start to see the fruits of that labor. And so there's some things I want to do with my family. Maybe take them on a ski trip. I'm not a big ski person, but my kids have never done it. And so I want to do some of those bucket list items that you want your kids to at least experience once to figure out whether they like it or not. I've already done it a ton. And there's lots of musicals I don't ever want to see again, because I've already seen them 20 times as a child. But then I realized my children have never seen, say, we just watched 2 or 3 weeks ago. I finally broke down and did it. We watched the guy who could talk to animals. My mind went totally blank.
Dr. Dolittle?
Dr. Dolittle, the original Dr. Dolittle, which is 2.5 or 3 hours long.
With Eddie Murphy?
No, the actual original Disney one from back in the 60s, the grandfather one.
Gotcha.
And so we watched the whole thing. The kids were like, that was awesome. Do we have to ever watch it again? And I said, absolutely not. So I want to do some of those exciting things. So those are my short term, both for family, for fun, and for the finances side of things, to see where can we go, what can we do
now
in our business.
When you sit down and look at your goals for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun, you want to ask yourself, how can I improve in this area? So what I did this week, it was, I think it was Wednesday. I was sitting down looking at my goals: faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun. And Jason, it occurred to me, we need to merge the elephant in the room meeting.
I loved that when you brought that up Friday.
With our all-staff meeting.
Yeah.
It has to happen. And I realized that I need to do that, because that would bring about 100 people into the room.
Yep.
And it will bring a lot of positive activity, blend it with another group of people, and I think it'll be a positive vibe.
Me too.
But I had to have that thought. I wanted to have that thought, needed to have that thought. Also, when we have conferences, it'll keep me from having to ever reschedule that because our conferences are on Fridays and Saturdays.
True.
There's a lot of reasons for it. But again, I had to sit down and think about where I am versus where I wanted to be. And that's where I want to leave today's listeners. I want to leave today's listeners with hope and a sense of not just inspiration, but a sense of motivation and a sense of activation. I want all the listeners to know, hey, listen, we can implement these things. Success is not just for other people. So I'm going to leave the listeners today with some action steps, okay? Action item number 1, proactively ask for Google reviews from your happy customers.
Do it.
If you don't know how, if the idea is foreign to you, get to a workshop. We'll teach you. 2, implement that group interview.
Please.
Got it. You got to implement that group interview. Now, Jason, that group interview, if you just know about it, but you don't implement it, what's going to happen?
You're not going to do it. You're going to get stuck in that individual interview just abyss, and you're always going to be complaining about not being able to find good people.
So it's not the gaining of knowledge that I care about here on this show. It's the implementation of the knowledge. Right. I don't care about you learning these things so you can run around. I mean, it's kind of fun at the conference now. Everybody knows what the group interview is. And if you run around in America, nobody knows what the group interview is.
Yeah.
But in our conferences, people know what it is. Then that's kind of exciting. But at the same time, I want you to implement these things. Now, point number 3, action item number 3. You want to start doing that Dream 100 marketing. You got to implement that system that Bob is implementing, that Nick Lamb is implementing, that so many great clients are implementing. You've got to do it. All of our clients are implementing. It works great. Step 4, you got to create a no-brainer. You have to create an offer so good that people cannot say no to it. It's got to be good.
That is one I fought against that made a huge difference in our business.
Yeah,
I thought I would lose money. We make money.
What is your no-brainer over there at Complete Carpet? By the way, what's your web address?
It is CompleteCarpetTulsa.com.
Okay, what's your no-brainer offer that you make at CompleteCarpetTulsa.com?
We thought we'd devalue our brand. We thought we'd lose money. We couldn't do it. We pushed back. We pushed back. We pushed back. And we finally did it, and it has helped us tremendously. We do $99 any house, all the carpet. And I know that we're doing success because I've had a few of our competitors will actually literally put on their website, don't fall for those $99 scams. And yet we've got 500 plus Google reviews, and our customers come back and use us again, and we're profitable. So I don't give them the metaphorical middle finger, but I do say, hey, I'm successful and you haven't matched our success, so this does work. Do it because it will work.
You got to do it. You got to do it. Now, Jason, the next action item we need to take is we need to, step 5, analyze our numbers.
Please.
When you talk to your clients and you tell them, hey, you got to write down all your fixed expenses and all of your monthly variable expenses. You need to write down all of your fixed monthly expenses and all of your fixed monthly expenses. You got to type them all in. You got to enter it into a spreadsheet.
Right.
Do you ever get pushback here?
A lot of times, yeah, just because nobody really thought about it. Like, I've had clients that have said, oh, I've got an accountant, but they meet that accountant maybe once a year.
True.
And so that person may know what their fixed and variable expenses are at that time, but it's so important to just get it all out of your head. And the clients that I have found, or the clients that I have that are like in orbit that have implemented this so far, it's helped them, and it's just like a sigh of relief, because once you figure out what your fixed costs are, you figure out your break-even point. You got your payroll, and you got everything else. You're like, okay, this is how much we have to make this week. What would profit look like? And then now that we've got that, oh man, they're just killing it. And we just look at the same thing every week. We're still spending this much. Now we're making this much more.
You've got to take the time needed, folks, to actually implement the action items we're teaching on today's show. You can't just be a hearer of the word. You have to be a doer of the word. Proverbs 10:4, and again, these are proverbial ideas. These are Christian ideas. These are secular ideas. These are universal ideas. They work. They work. They work. They work every time. But Proverbs 10:4 reads, lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. You cannot just learn these things. You have to implement these things. But Clay, I don't want to implement these things. I just want to learn these things. Jason, I just want to learn these things.
Yeah.
I don't want to I have a problem. I like to learn things, and I don't like to implement things.
You, sir, are an ask-hole.
I'm called college. I'm college. I love learning, but I don't like implementing it all. I'm called college. Hi, I'm college. I specialize in teaching things you don't need to know and helping you memorize things and then not helping you implement things. I for 4 consecutive years, I'll teach you crap that you don't need to know. Hi, I'm high school. I lead to college. I teach you random crap that you don't need to know to allow you to go to college to learn more crap you don't need to know. Hi, I'm the MBA. I am a Master's of Business Administration, and I teach you more profound crap you don't need to know. Hi, I'm PhD. I actually work for the National Institute of Health ran by Dr. Fauci, and 54 of us have been fired for working for the communists. Folks, listen. The theory of communism sounds great, right? We all get paid the same amount. No one's left out. Everyone has health care. Everybody's going to be financially successful. No one's going to be poor. No one's going to be rich. Everybody's just going to be taken care of from cradle to grave. All you have to do is behave and follow the Communist Manifesto. But Jason, why doesn't communism work? I think they teach these kind of pro-communist ideas from college campuses, and I find it shocking that parents could send their kids to college and then be shocked that they graduate as communists. Yeah. But why doesn't communism work?
Well, I mean, one, historically, it always fails. But when what you just said before, the reason why people, especially here in America, unfortunately right now, the problem is education. And you hear like politicians say this a lot, but I'm serious. Like the problem is education. Much like the listeners on the show, we could educate you all day, but unless you implement, nothing's going to happen. Or unless you research, given, let's say the topic of communism. But anyway, why it's so appealing to everybody right now who's making bad decisions is they believe what you said is true. Everybody gets paid the same amount and nobody gets left out. However, if you look at any big communist government in any notable country throughout the years, what's happened? There's always been a divide. You think that you can't be poor and you're going to be thriving in a communist environment? You're not. You're still going to be subjugated. Now you just have somebody telling you what you can and can't do verbatim.
Now, at Elephant in the Room, everybody makes the same hourly amount, but then the customers can tip whatever they want. Do we have people that make more money than others?
Oh, absolutely. It's merit. It's definitely merit-based in the sense that you can make more by wowing your customer, and you can also make more by doing things that help the business.
Think about this for a second, Jason. Think about this for a second. Why does Carly tend to get tipped so much?
Because Carly is like lightning in a bottle. She has charisma. She's a very, very good stylist, and she also has a growth mindset. So she knows. I mean, I've seen her do this little move. She has this little journal. We think we're cool because we carry clipboards with our to-do list. The second that a client says something to her that she realizes is going to make like a connection and make them, if she can like refer back to that, make them a regular customer, she'll jot it down. So if you're like, let's say Dr. Breck got his haircut before he goes to Florida. He'd say, yeah, I'm going to Florida with the kiddos. We're going to be going on a boat ride, blah, blah, blah. She'll jot that down. Next month, he comes in for an appointment. She's like, so you didn't tell me about Florida. Did you get seasick? And then immediately they're like, holy crap, this person remembers who I am. I'm not just a guy in a chair.
But in a communist environment, what would happen if we took everybody's tips and equalized them and gave them out to everybody equally?
Her hard work would mean nothing.
Right. That's just an example. So again, we're teaching you these moves, but you've got to get out of that hypnotic, bored mindset that some people are in, which is go to work, go to church, go home, go to work, go to church, go to home, go to work, go to church, go home. You're 40. Go to work, go to church. Go home. You're 45. Go to work. Go to church. Go home. Your back hurts. You're 50. Go to work. Go to church. Go home. You're 55. Go to work. Go to church. Go home. You're 60. Go to work. Go to church. Go home. You're 65. Go to work. Go to church. Go to home. You're 70. Go to work. Go to church. Go home. You're dead. Stop doing that. Get out of the rhythm. Focus. Wake up. Wake up. This is your time. Are you talking to me? Yes, I'm talking to you. I don't know if you're talking to me because I'm just... Stop it. Stop thinking success is for other people. Jason, somebody needs to be shaken.
Yes.
Someone needs to be awakened. Someone needs to be shook out of the slumber.
Yeah.
Come on. You used to be in a slumber.
I did.
There's a time in my life I was in a slumber. Help somebody get back. help them wrestle the bat out of the cave so they can isolate the virus and work with Dr. Fauci to invent another virus.
No, I mean, everything you're saying is true. If you feel stuck, stop being stuck. If we, there's so many times, I'll just use, not self-gratification. What's the word I'm looking for?
Self-deprecation.
Yes, so self-deprecation here.
This just in.
Apparently I can't do math. I'm having a hard time with the English language.
I think you're doing a great job, really. I think you're doing great.
But no, so like I realized I was unhappy. I was in a job that was my passion, and I was going the wrong direction. So I had to just stop and make a decision. If I hadn't, I would not be where I am in life at all right now, because that led to another job. I ended up realizing that wasn't the right path, but then saying, okay, maybe switch to a different direction.
You got to keep
180
going.
Again.
You can't steer a parked bus.
Right. So if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like you have an idea that you want to pursue, if you want to do the group interview, if you want to start tracking, if you want to find a way to make a great no-brainer so you can bring in more profit, you just have to sit down and decide when you're going to do it.
You got to sit down. Make the time to get these things done. Action item number 6. You got to install a tracking sheet. You got to track where the leads are coming from, where they're not coming from, how much you're spending on ads, what's working, what's not.
Scoreboard.
Action item number 7. You've got to, without a VISM, your digital dominance will perish. You've got to implement the VISM system, which is get video reviews, images on your site, search engine content, more reviews. Do it every day. Step 8, you got to implement Seth Godin's Purple Cow to stand out in a crowded marketplace. Come up with a brand, a logo, something that stands out. Paint your vehicles neon green. Make sure you're the only doctor in town that's offering a $99 first exam and glasses. Be the guy that stands out in the cluttered marketplace. Be the purple cow in the field and the herd of brown cows. Stand out. And action item number 9 we want to focus on today's show is you got to implement those sales scripts. I'm Clay Clark. I'm excited for you, and I'm here to remind you that Napoleon Hill was correct when he once wrote, when an individual, that's you, realizes that the simple but profoundly vital fact that aiming toward a specific goal is the best insurance of hitting the bullseye, then he or she, that's you, is ready to move forward toward more complex conclusions. Anyone may climb. Folks, today when we finish this show, let me tell you what I'm going to do. We finish this show, I have to upload some more clips from the President Trump rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Then I'm going to go to Guts Church. And then at 12 o'clock, I'm going to leave to go buy some silky chickens.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going to actually drive out to Beggs, Oklahoma to get these things. Then I'm going to get ready. Then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to edit my book, The Mastermind Manuscripts, which I'm just working through. Man, that thing is just killing me. That book is
it's huge.
It's a big book.
It's like you were trying to outright the Bible. It's massive.
It is very big. And then after that, I'm going to come back and buy some fireworks. Actually, I'm going to wait for the guys to come over. Nick Lamb and James are coming over at 6:30. Then we're going to go together because they're from California.
Oh, yeah.
And New York, where you can't buy fireworks.
That's true.
So I'm going to take them there. I'm going to be a baller. I'm going to say, guys, you have a budget of $30 a piece. You guys can pick out some stuff. And then we're going to go shoot off stuff. We're going to have a great night, have a great dinner. And that's what's going to happen. But I have ordained my destiny. I have made a schedule that I want to happen. I'm going to spend time today in the car with my daughter, driving out to Beggs, buying these chickens. It's going to happen because I'm proactive about the F6 life, and you can be too. This is your year to thrive. I encourage you. I know you can do it. Do not be discouraged. Success is not for somebody else. Success is for you. And now, without any further ado, we end each and every show with a boom because it stands for big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. Big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.
Hi, I am Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been with Thrive now for about 2 years. And one of the first things that my coach had me do was start doing morning huddles with my employees. So I started doing the huddles every morning. We would meet in the lobby, and I would stand in front of everybody, and I would go over burning fires, what we needed to do, and whatnot. And then we would break, and everybody would get to work. And then about 2 weeks ago, I was talking to my coach, and I said, I have this one position that I just can't fill. I've had several different people in the position. They always wind up getting fired or quitting, and it's a pretty important position. I don't know what I should do. Am I looking in the wrong place? Am I looking for the wrong person? And he said, well, I don't know. Let me talk to Clay about it. So then the following week, he said that he talked to Clay, and Clay told him that the problem wasn't really the people that I was hiring, that I was hiring the right people, I was looking for the right people, but the problem was my training. And it lies in my morning huddles. And it was like a light bulb moment for me. It never occurred to me that I could use my morning huddles as a training tool. So I said, well, Luke, how do I do this? And he said, well, let's put together an agenda for your morning huddles. So we put together this agenda, and the next morning I called everybody into the conference room and I put the agenda up on the TV screen, and we went through the agenda, and I could see in my employees that it was like a light bulb moment for them too. And so I shared the huddle on Google Docs with all of my employees, and they are now required every day at the end of the day, it's on their daily checklists, to go in and put something in the logistical section of our morning huddle agenda. And there are questions like, I had this situation arise today and I didn't know how to handle it. Or I had this question from a client and I didn't know what the answer was. Or, how do I do a certain thing? Or why do we do certain things? And so we go into our conference room every morning, put the agenda up on the TV screen, we go through the logistical section, and then we assign action items. And it's been probably the single most productive tool that I have come across in this process. And we've got, so the questions that sometimes they'll ask, someone else has already had the situation and come up with the solution and had no idea that other people were struggling with it. And so I've got employees are now teaching other employees. I'm training, I'm answering questions, and people who were idle before, they'd gotten their work done, they didn't have anything else to do, they were sitting idle, are now busy because they have action items to do. And sometimes they'll come up with, why do we do this certain thing this certain way? I know we've always done it this way and it works, but if we do it this other way, we can come up with the same result in half the time. And I'm like, whoa, I never even thought of that. So in the 2 weeks that we have been doing this, we've created new checklists, we've created new procedures, we've revamped checklists, we've revamped procedures. And one of the logistical things that somebody had put on the agenda was that they wanted to learn payroll taxes. And I've got one person in my office who does the payrolls and the payroll taxes, and they were really the only person who knew anything about payroll taxes. And so this payroll person put together a training session for everybody in the office. She sat everybody down and taught everybody how to do payroll taxes and basically help them to understand the payroll taxes. And so now I have everybody is handling their own payroll tax issues, where before that they would just have to defer it to the payroll person because they didn't know the answers. And now the payroll person has had extra time because she's gotten her department organized and she's gotten her procedures updated. And now I'm going to have to hit the pavement to go find more payrolls to fill up her time, where before she barely had enough time to get everything done. And so now I have the potential of adding approximately another $1,000 a month to my bottom line, and I don't have to hire anybody else. And so it's really kind of cool.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Aaron Antis with Shaw Homes. I first heard about Clay through a mortgage lender here in town who had told me what a great job he had been doing for them, and I actually noticed he was driving a Lamborghini all of a sudden, so I was willing to listen. In my career, I've sold a little over $800 million in real estate. So honestly, I thought I kind of knew everything about marketing and homes. And then I met Clay, and my perception of what I knew and what I could do definitely changed. After doing $800 million in sales over a 15-year career, I really thought I knew what I was doing. I've been managing a large team of salespeople for the last 10 years here with Shaw Homes. And I mean, we've been a company that's been in business for 35 years. We've become one of the largest builders in the Tulsa area, and that was without Clay. So when I came to know Clay, I really thought, man, there's not much more I need to know, but I'm willing to listen. The interesting thing is our internet leads from our website has actually, in a 4-month period of time, has gone from somewhere around 10 to 15 leads in a month to 180 internet leads in a month. Just from the few things that he's shown us how to implement that I honestly probably never would have come up with on my own. So I got a lot of good things to say about the system that Clay put in place with us, and it's just been an incredible experience. I am very glad that we met and had the opportunity to work with Clay. So the interaction with the team and with Clay on a weekly basis is honestly very enlightening. One of the things that I love about Clay's perspective on things is that he doesn't come from my industry. He's not somebody who's in the home building industry. I've listened to all the experts in my field. Our company has paid for me to go to seminars, international builder shows, all kinds of places where I've had the opportunity to learn from the experts in my industry. But the thing that I found working with Clay is that he comes from such a broad spectrum of working with so many different types of businesses that he has a perspective that's difficult for me to gain because I get so entrenched in what I do, I'm not paying attention to what other leading industry experts are doing. And Clay really brings that perspective for me. It is very valuable time every week when I get that hour with him. From my perspective, the reason that any business owner who's thinking about hooking up with Thrive needs to definitely consider it is because the results that we've gotten in a very short period of time are honestly monumental. It has really exceeded my wildest expectation of what he might be able to do. I came in skeptical because I'm very pragmatic, and as I've gone through the process over just a few months, I've realized it's probably one of the best moves we've ever made. I think a lot of people probably feel like they don't need a business or marketing consultant because they maybe are a little bit prideful and like to think they know everything. I know that's how I felt coming in. I mean, we're a big company that's definitely one of the largest in town. And so we kind of felt like we knew what we were doing. And I think for a lot of people, they let their ego get in the way of listening to somebody that might have a better or different perspective than theirs. I would just really encourage you, if you're thinking about working with Clay, I mean, the thing is, it's month to month. Go give it a try and see what happens. I think in the 35-year history of Shaw Homes, this is probably the best thing that's happened to us. And I know if you give them a shot, I think you'll feel the same way. I know for me, the thing I would have missed out on if I didn't work with Clay is I would have missed out on literally an 1,800% increase in our internet leads. Going from 10 a month to 180 a month, that would have been a huge financial decision to just decide not to give it a shot. I would absolutely recommend Clay Clark to anybody who's thinking about working with somebody in marketing. I would skip over anybody else you were thinking about, and I would go straight to Clay and his team. I guarantee you're not going to regret it, because we sure haven't.